Hello everyone watching at home, this is Adelaide Eternal. We're bringing you our monthly tournaments, and this time around we're bringing you Highlander for March. I'm Sarven McLinton, I'm in the booth here with Beckett, Wolfe.
G'day guys!
So we have two of our players here, two of our regulars. On the left we have Nekta Nicolaou, and he is on the blue-red combo, Blue Moon, Time Vault, Splinter Twin type deck. And on the right we have Cameron Bird, who recently featured in one of our deck techs as well. Shall we have a look at his deck first then?
Sure.
Alright, so he's had a little bit of evolution since his last build, I can see. And I know that during the video series before, you guys were discussing a couple of differences that you had in your lists. But I can see that the decision to run fast mana like Mox Jet and so on is still there. Right?
Yeah, he's also got Oath of Druid, so he's splashing for a bit more green, and he's got the Forbidden Orchid, and the Oath of Druid seems really good against creature decks, but you gotta think how it's gonna go against non-creature decks. Hopefully he's just gotta get that Swan Song, something like that in it as well.
Yeah, I can see that. And the creatures of choice for reanimation, I know that there's a lot of discussion here, but obviously Elesh Norn really good against the creatures, opposing creatures, wiping them out. Grizzlebrand really nice for you to just combo out and draw a whole bunch of cards and just keep going, I assume. And then Iona really good against the control decks, naming blue.
He's also got Bazaar Baghdad, so he's come around to it.
Yes, that's right. That was a difference that you guys were discussing, wasn't it? Yeah.
And I think that's correct.
Yeah, I like it. Shall we have a look at Nekta's list?
Yeah, let's look at it. Nekta's running pretty standard blue-red control deck. There's a lot of these. I think the idea is it's blue-red control. Is he running the Time Vault one?
Yeah, so this is the type that has Time Vault, and it has your Planeswalkers like Tezzeret the Seeker to find the Time Vault and then combo out. And then it also has Planeswalkers like Ralzarek that do the same kind of untapping your permanents. And then obviously the engine that makes these Blue Moon decks work is Blood Moon and Back to Basics, and sometimes you see Magus of the Moon as well, depending on the build. And the goal there is just to lock your opponent out from being able to play anything, and instead you get to counter all the things they do. Well, so shall we? Well, let's let them continue shuffling up. And what do you think about who's favoured in this particular match?
Look, that's a good question. The blue-red moon decks have been pretty strong. They've been pretty consistent as well, and they come on a lot of angles. So you've got sometimes you just get free wins with Blood Moon. Sometimes you just get free wins with the Pestamite, Kiki Jiki, and obviously sometimes you just get free wins with Time Vault. I think that the blue-red deck is going to probably get up. Well, I prefer it here. As I said, it's just got it's even got a fourth mode, which is just control, because it's got a lot of card advantage. So there's sort of four angles that it can win on, and I think that's what makes the deck so strong. So I'm voting the blue-red deck here. So What about you?
Well, they're drawing their hands now. It's going to be interesting to see how they line up against each other. But I would say that if you're trying to combo out every day of the week, I would rather be with a hand like that, with miscalculation, mental misstep, and so on, and then be able to once the dust settles, play back to basics and laugh at your opponent who has 4 colours or some number of colours. So I would always want to be on that side of the match. The only time I would probably want to be on the combo side of things would be, say, Storm or something else that's really, really explosive. Reanimator can be explosive, but it can be attacked on multiple angles, both from countering the reanimation spells, interacting with your graveyard to exile them, or removing the creatures themselves once they hit the battlefield.
Yeah, hopefully, I think when I played Reanimator, a lot of it came down to which guys you were reanimating. A lot of the time I thought, I just need one big guy out and that'll do it. And you get a big guy out and then it's Elesh Norn and you're playing against Storm and you're like, well, what does this actually do?
Or your opponent, like on the blue-red side, just plays Fire and Ice, taps your attacker, gives them one more turn of tempo and tempos you out, or they just combo themselves because they got Splinter Twin.
Yep. What you really want is Grizzlebrand. He's the man. He's the man in every format.
Yeah.
He's big. He's got lifelink. He's got flying, so he closes the game. He can save you from attackers, and he can draw you mass amounts of cards to interact with other combo decks. He's the best. He's the man.
Yeah, I like it. He's the best, he's the man. Let's put that in
He's
there.
the best. He's the man.
That's the plan. So in this instance, when your opponent casts Gitaxian Probe, I know from a lot of Vintage, I do like to Mental Misstep a Gitaxian Probe, especially when you've got 2 Mental Missteps. It's fantastic because the information given to your opponent is huge. In this instance, if you are on the side when you have only a single Mental Misstep in the whole deck, and you only have one other piece of interaction, which is miscalculation, I can see why he's not misstepping that.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat as you, Sub. I've been exactly here, and I think it is correct to misstep the probe. Information is really, really good, especially information about a misstep. The only time I won't is if there's a specific card I'm thinking about.
And this is Reanimate.
Well, I was just about to say, could be
Entomb
Reanimate.
Or
Yeah, that's
this is
pretty
cool.
tough.
Oath of Druids. So when Oath of Druids is out, if your opponent has creatures and you don't, or they have more creatures than you get to flip cards off the top of your library and put them in your graveyard until you get a creature. And obviously your deck's full of fatties, and filling your graveyard is one really big bonus for the Reanimator deck.
Yeah.
This is pretty much the perfect situation.
It really
I know
is.
that you're opposed to the Forbidden Orchard combo with this
just
because
don't
there's
love
only one of them, right?
The problem I have with it is that the Orchard is really bad against when you're playing against creature decks because you're giving them a lot of creatures that they might be able to Birthing Pod or Clamp or just bash with, especially if you're playing it as one of your early land drops. And if you're playing against a non-creature deck and you have the Oath but not the Forbidden Orchid, then Oath, one of your points, one of the cards, the reason you're splashing a 4th colour for, is dead.
Yeah, and in this instance, I mean, it'll be really exciting to see how this plays out because I know that you're opposed to it, but here, this is pretty much the exact example of it being at its strongest because he had the Forbidden Orchard on turn 2 and he has the Oath of Druids on turn 2 and his opponent hasn't been able to counter it or interact with that creature in it, the creature token itself or your land. So this, if it works out here, you might become a believer. But, if it doesn't, I think it's a nail in the coffin.
I believe in the strength of Oath. I'm playing Oath of Druids in Vintage, so that is built around Oath and runs for Oath. So I do like my Oath. I just wonder how consistent it is in a format like this. Yeah. One other thing that's really good about Oath, as opposed to something like Show and Tell, is it fills up his graveyard. Now, it's not going to fill it up with creatures because, of course, as soon as it hits a creature, that gets put into play. But, maybe I need to look back at Cameron's list, but often these runs a lot of flashbacky sort of cards, a lot of graveyard interactive cards, so could do that. But the other thing is, he doesn't know what he's getting. It's not like he gets just search any card, any creature and put in. And
it's not like in Vintage where you're going to hit one of 2 things, and you definitely know that one of those 2 things is going to go great. So here we go. Flipping it off, let's see what we get.
How good's Elishnorn going to be here? It's not going to do much, Elishnorn's just going to kill. It's just going to kill all the tokens.
But here's a bit better Praetor. Right.
That's almost Grizzlebrand.
So, Jin Gitaxias is a creature that is exorbitant and cannot be cast normally.
It was like 10 mana?
Some
8 and 2 blue.
Unless you're playing EDH. And at the end of your turn, you're going to draw 7 cards, or up to 7 cards or something, and then your opponent, at the end of their turn, they discard. So their maximum hand size is reduced by 7.
Yeah. It wins the game by itself. But as I said, unlike Grizzlebrand, doesn't have lifelink, doesn't have flying, so it takes him a little while to close. You can just go for the throw at him, and they don't get value.
For those that are wondering about the bizarre card at the bottom there, that's a Lotus Petal with the strictly incorrect art.
Yes, that's from the new Kaladesh. Newish now. Something it's not that new anymore.
Something. Oh, here we go. Thoughtseize. And this is going to pretty much take out the best card in Nekta's hand, but he has Mental Misstep, so he can protect it if he thinks he has an answer to Jin Gitaxias.
You wouldn't you? Because
absolutely.
Might as well.
Hey, guess what? Instead of losing 2 life from Thoughtseize, your opponent loses 2 life from Mental Misstep. It's such a power play. I'd take that trade any day. So I assume that at the end of the turn, after, so here we go. We're drawing 7 cards. Then probably Nectar's just going to cycle that Miscalculation. So Miscalculation is like a mana leak for 2 instead of having to pay 3, and you get to cycle for 2.
Yep, I don't mind Miscalculation. You definitely the issue with mana leak is at some point it's really bad if
irrelevant.
Your opponent has the threat already on board and you need to find threats or removal. You don't need counterspell, or B, if there's just so much mana out that you're never going to be able to pay them. And he's discarded.
Is that bizarre?
Bizarre. That's bizarre.
Wow, very bizarre turn of events right there. Oh, there we go. Cycle Miscalculation.
He still doesn't like
the same. Get rid of that.
You know, Cameron, he still doesn't like the bizarre that much. He's running it, but I feel like he might be running it begrudgingly.
Yeah, in this board state, he's got his Djinn. He's pretty happy. He's just going to see what Nekta can cobble together. I'm playing the same deck as Nekta, but I don't have the Time Vault combo in there.
There was a lot running around this tournament. I think there were, maybe 4 or 5 decks that were definitely variations on the blue-red Blood Moon control deck.
The meta had a lot of that. Yeah. I think I'm the only one running white in my Blood Moon type deck, just because I got a single plains and a tundra and a plateau, and that's enough for me to power out Ajani Vengeance and Restoration Angel and Swords of Plowshares. I only got 3 white cards in the main deck, but they're just really good. Well, and that's a hand.
It's a hand. It's a lot of lands. I'm surprised
he's got Dark Fade and it's okay.
I'm surprised. I still think he should have kept that Bizarre. But do you think Nectar's gonna rush out a Shackles here, because he's gonna have to discard his hand if he plays Island Shackles, and then he can chump block the Jin-Gitaxias for a while with the 1/1s. He could actually just top deck 2 more Islands and then steal a Jin-Gitaxias.
Take it. Yeah, sure.
I can't really see the rest of his cards, but you got to assume you've lost this game. If you're Nekta and they get like a turn 3 Jin-Gitaxias, you got to assume that you've just lost and say, all right, the only way I win this is with some miracle, and I think that could be the miracle he wants. So
yeah, sure. I mean, why not? If it's your only out, but we don't know what the other additional 3 cards are in his hand, so you never know. We can see what happens. I mean, this is
playing back to basics, that's for sure.
Yeah, so that might be a nice avenue. Shackles, and then hope to top deck 2 more blue, 2 more islands.
This is one of the problems with the Orchid as well, is now you're giving them chump blockers.
That's true.
And if you want to power through the chump blockers and get rid of them and then swing with your fatty, the Oath actually works both ways. So if you play Oath and you have more creatures than them, they get to trigger it and search through for creatures. So you've actually got to be kind of careful that you're producing enough 1/1s and that you don't keep triggering your Oath so much that now you give them triggers.
Given that he's playing a blue-red combo deck, with lots of these niche little cards that niche little functional cards like Fire and Ice, I can definitely see a situation where you can fire your own 2 tokens so that your opponent has more creatures than you, and then triggering Oath. But what are you going to flip? Snapcaster Mage.
Look, mate, yeah, you could flip. You could flip Click. There's nothing wrong with a good Click. Or I mean, if it's free,
Yeah, I'll take it.
I'll take a free Click or a free True Name Nemesis.
Why not?
True Name's not too bad. I mean,
I don't think that Nectar's running that particular build. Because he's all in on the 2 different types of combo.
Yeah, well, that's right. You're spending 3 points on the Time Vault. Don't get me wrong, Time Vault's a very good combo, but it's at the cost of having a generically or holistically good deck running.
Absolutely.
Your Jason, your Snap, and your True Name, and your
That's what I'm going to.
Drain.
Because then you definitely have your Splinter Twin, Kiki Jiki possible wins, and Restoration Angel also combos with Kiki Jiki, so it's an additional combo piece. But you get to run True Name Nemesis, and you get more points to divvy up. You definitely get to run Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise, not just one of them.
Yeah, especially since Dig got double pointed, it's not really possible to play Time Vault Dig, because then you got 5 points there, Force is 6.
Yeah.
That's it pretty much. You got
That's
one
pretty
more
much it.
for Snap or Jace or something, but Nekta's really having a good think here. He's not sure.
He's basically going, what
Based
is
on-
my one
based-
out? I got to find one out to this situation here.
Based on my information, it's Shackles, but yeah, of course
That's
he's
right.
got a bit more information than us. The
So
other thing is, if he waits long enough, he could take a few bashes from the gin and then just get 4 of those 1/1s and threaten to trade.
yeah, it's a good point. It's not a winning situation given that Oath is going to trigger again and then again and then again. There's definitely an out here where Oath triggers and flips Elish Norn, wipes the board, and then lets you trigger the Oath.
Yeah,
but
or maybe he'll forget how many creatures he's flipped because Oath will still trigger, and if you don't have any creatures left, then you just lose.
yeah, so there's definitely marginal outs, very marginal outs. What do you think here in terms of the possible value of conceding so that when you discard your hand at the end of turn, you don't give too much information to your opponent? I know that Nekta is on a very powerful standard list here, but so giving information isn't always an issue when you're on an established strong archetype, but
Yeah,
I could see a situation where you just concede.
I can see it. I wouldn't do it. I've got too much pride.
Not
You
ideal.
never know with this. I don't think swinging there was correct. You're never going to win the race swinging 2 into 5. And as I said, if you can keep up blockers, even if you just keep up one of them as a blocker, then you get to threaten to chump, and then you can sort of keep him off Oath and maybe even trigger an Oath for yourself.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
think you're going to ever really win swinging 2 into 5. So.
Well, 3 mana is being tapped, so this means something is going to happen. It's definitely a card from the hand.
Oh,
no,
surely.
it's Shackles. Yes,
There you
that's
go.
what we were.
It's easy from the box seat, but
But given that we saw only 3 cards, and we're like the only possible out is from those cards is to play Vidalcan Shackles and hope you draw 2 islands. Our decision was much easier than Nektar's because he
Yes.
has 3 extra cards that we can't see, but we're about to see them because they're about to be discarded. I assume.
we are. He's still not sure though, or is this now Cameron thinking about countering? I think if Cameron counters it, then it's
Oh,
all,
if that's Is It Charm,
it's
he
all
just
scooped up.
Doesn't
isn't it?
Cameron have an Is It Charm or that? No,
No.
that was a Dak Faden, wasn't it? Okay, so Pestamite, Spell Snare, 2 more lands.
So I guess
So his debate was whether to play Pestamite.
yeah, because if he Pestamites, then he could top deck land and then twin. But I think it's better to top deck land and land than assume you're going to get red mana twin.
Yeah. I think that was the correct decision. And now we flip up an indestructible 8/8 vigilant angel.
Tell you what, the thing about indestructible 8/8 vigilance angels is A, there's not too many of them, and B,
You
it
never
takes
cast
a couple.
an
It
outside
takes a fair amount of islands to get that bad boy
I think so.
off the top.
Hey, I think these decks run like 8 basic islands, so it's possible. Dak Faden, my favourite. Here
He's
we
going
go.
to steal the shackles.
Oh, brutal. There we go.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg. You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.
That's
Nekta-
rough.
I mean, Nekta didn't know that.
No, I think if Nekta knew that, it would have been a snap decision to concede there. But
Yeah.
this is just insult to injury.
It is.
Having your single
That's a new card
possible
now, you know?
only
You've
out.
got to be careful, Sarv. You can't be using... We're going to run out of phrases, because if you start saying that's insult to injury, everyone's going to be like, what are you talking about?
no.
That's Dak Faden.
That's right. They're going, oh no, in standard, that's the thing.
We're running out of phrases, mate.
Don't worry, I don't quote anything that's unplayable in a total format.
Alright, Nekta, scoop it up, buddy. This is
Yeah.
done. I guess
He's
got
doing the
the
right thing, which is
information,
check
yeah.
as much information
That's
as
a
possible.
very good point. And with a deck like that, I think it's actually relevant. Sometimes
I agree.
This is a bit sort of, is it worth it? But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's a huge amount of information at a glance. And
It's very, very important as the blue player who has marginal counter spells to look through and know what can you spell snare, what can you hold up mental misstep spell snare for, what can you, what are you likely to have to encounter from an explosive opening, and what are you likely to have to encounter from a long drawn out game.
one thing is, Nekta discarded spell snare, right?
Mm.
and he had 1 mana up when Oath was played. So Nekta would have had the snare on top of his library.
That's brutal.
So that is painful. So he would have top decked the snare after the Oath was played, the turn 2 Oath. So that's a real shame for Nekta as well. He would have been fuming inside, I imagine.
Yeah.
So fair enough.
This is
Let's
viable.
calm down. Top deck Time Vault, because if you do it any later than that, the Dak Faden will steal the key.
Yeah, so
I think it's correct.
Top deck Time Vault is actually a way you can get out of this. I was about to say, is Nekta here just playing for information? But I mean, you could run a sick top deck Time Vault. It's actually a way to win right now.
Here we go. It is.
Because there's...
Sure, was that lethal? Yeah,
well, there we go. We got excited. We got excited at the possible out.
All right, game 2.
Yeah, he's just passing the turn and going, show me more information. Go on. Do something else. So, after sideboard, I'll take a look at the blue-red deck because I'm far more familiar with this. And I would say you're bringing in things like Swan Song, Flusterstorm, also known as Flizzleflom, Dispel, Pyroblast, and Red Elemental Blast do target things like Careful Study, but you probably don't necessarily want to overload on them. But they do also destroy things like Jin Gataxius. There's only 1 or 2 maybe blue threats that he wants to destroy. Other than that, I think Grafdigger's Cage, Tormod's Crypt, and Relic of Progenitus are just no-brainers when you're against a reanimation deck. But I think other than that, he's just basically, and negate, he's overloading on 1 mana or possibly 2 mana, but usually 1 mana interaction spells with against the explosive combo deck.
Oftentimes, as I said, the blue-red decks are versatile. Oftentimes it takes out one of those aspects. It might take out all its control cards to put in a few sideboard, or all of its Time Vault combo, or all of its Twin combo. I wonder, or its Moon combos on it. I wonder what he's going to take out, because to be honest with you, Sarv, I think the Time Vault's quite good against Cameron. He's not running much interaction, as is the other combo, the Twin, as is the Moons, as is the Control. So maybe he takes out his big fat counter spells like Cryptic Command and stuff.
Take out everything slow. I can't take Cryptic Command out fast enough against everything but midrange. Literally, Cryptic Command is only in my deck against midrange, and Highlander is a midrange format. So it's good to be in the main deck, but once I sideboard, I can't turn that into a Pyroblast fast enough. It's just 4 mana.
And on the other side, Cameron's got Besieger, who shelters all, which I think will surely come in against a control card like that. Paying a bit of life is fine to, ruin someone's, quarter of someone's deck. He's got Red Elemental Blast, which is an interesting choice, because I wouldn't think that he's trying to win counter battles, but because Red Elemental Blast is so cheap,
it's like another Flusterstorm.
That's right.
Just protect your.
So I think it is quite good in this case. He's got the rest, bit of hand hate. I think that's good. You can just kind of pave the way, see if what you have is going to get countered before you go for that Exhume or something like that. I think it all makes sense. Do you think Nullrod's coming in here against Time Vault combo?
Yeah, so you'll be surprised. It's obviously the Nullrod Stony Silence packages are usually in there against Storm because it's really, really good. And also good against the Mud decks. In this instance, the one way that you can get out-comboed is having your opponent combo you with 2 pieces of a Voltaic Key and a Time Vault straight off there, right away. But the issue is the cost to Cameron Bird is huge. It turns off his explosive Mox Jet, Chrome Mox type things. So once he plays it, if he wants to cast that early in the game, then any top deck fast mana is going to be gone, and it's only turning off 1 2-card combo in his opponent's deck. So it's really going to be up to him what he thinks is the payoff.
Just going back to Nekta's sideboard.
Here we go. So he's chosen to take out Chrome Mox, Stifle, Gaia Reach, Sanitarium, I think. And he's bringing in cheap counter spells and Besieger.
I think that's fair enough.
And Disruption.
And the Pything Needle for the Time Vault. You can name Time Vault or Key.
Yep, that's better than Nullrod.
Yeah, I think so.
Any day I'll play Pithing Needle over Nullrod in that instance.
It still hits both the pieces because they're sort of useless without each other. I think it's good. Got to be careful of the misstep. No, but I wanted to ask about the Submerge. Do you think he's putting in Submerge because Submerge obviously very cheap, bounces a creature back to the hand or back to the top?
It goes on top of the
back
library.
to the top, so
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
I really like Submerge here because he's already shown Cameron has already shown Nekta that he has a tropical island and has green spells, i.e. Oath. So in Nekta's mind, he's saying, well, Submerge is a shoo-in, but little does he know, the green, I believe, is only in the deck for the Oath. Is that correct?
So there's a good chance there won't be green.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, Submerge will only be good once Cameron's reanimated. So it's in this sort of awkward position where it's very, very reactive. It's not proactive at all. The last thing you want is like an opening hand Submerge where you're sort of winning in control of the match. You're slightly ahead, and
then they get a Grizzlebrand,
and then the reason they're resolving those spells is because that Submerge could have been something else. That Submerge could have been a Remand or something.
Storm,
plus
effects,
a Storm.
Yes, yeah.
And then they get, as you said, Grizzlebrand, and then you Submerge it, and then they just pay 7, draw 7.
I do like Grizzlebrand though.
Grizzlebrand.
Is that a new thing?
Makes him sound more suave.
Yeah, I like it.
The French Grizzlebrand.
Yeah. So whenever I'm in Nekta's shoes here in the blue-red tempo type deck, I do overload a lot in sideboards against these combo decks. I just bring everything in. Bring all these one mana interaction spells, and at the end of the day, you end up with 7 or 8 new cards in the deck, and you have to choose what you're taking out. And Nekta has the advantage that his combo lines are twofold. He has the Time Vault option and the Twin option, and in this instance, keep the Time Vault in and take out the Twin. Take out Kiki Jiki, take out Splinter Twin, the bad cards, and make sure you interact with Cameron Bird on turn 1 and turn 2, and make sure he cannot do his game plan. Same with Cryptic Command. The 4 mana things. It's not ideal.
I've just seen another sideboard card of Nekta's Swan Song, which seems absolutely perfect against Oath of Druids.
Yeah, turn it into a duck.
1 mana counterspell that hits enchantments, instants, or sorceries, and it gives them a 2/2 bird. So
you're giving Cameron Bird a 2/2 bird.
You can give the bird the 2/2 bird. You can counter the Oath of Druids. You can counter the other sorceries and instants that he'll use to reanimate. And if he does have a resolved Oath of Druids, you can next level them by giving them a little duck.
Yeah.
And then because of their duck, they'll have more creatures, and hopefully the Oath won't trigger. So that's a bit of next level against the Oath of Druids. I like that. And he'll definitely be bringing that in.
Yeah, it's nice against control decks because not only do you counter their spells during a counter war, but also in a counter war when you're trying to win the game with Splinter Twin, when they try and use a removal spell on your Deceiver Exarch, or they try to counterspell your Splinter Twin, you can Swan Song your own Splinter Twin, make a 2/2, and then start attacking. In addition to your Pestamite, your Venser, and all the other things, suddenly you go from attacking for 4 to attacking for 6. It's just a niche little advantage that it has over, say, Dispel.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's definitely got a bit more versatility than Dispel. But...
So this is a Scry, so Cameron Bird's on 6, and Nekta had a hand with a Preordain, and it just looked like a nice, well-rounded hand. No clear game plan from turn 1, but once you resolve Preordain and the other search card drawing spells, you'll start to shape up a nice plan to see what's going to happen. And scrying 1 to the top and 1 to the bottom means there's going to be something he likes. Cameron, on the other hand, down at 6, he's limited on resources, so if he's got one of these openers with Moxen and Lotus Petals and stuff, he has to be very careful about getting blown out. But here it's a slow opener just with a Tropical Island.
Yeah, I think post-board, the blue-red deck, as we had a look, has a lot of sideboard options to bring in. And I think you can expect to lose that game 1 against such a proactive combo. But post-board, Nekta's got a lot more chance here.
Yeah, so
it's a decent hand.
Brutality is
really very, very
with so many different modes that can be applicable, and occasionally killing a Pestamite whilst doing, discarding duressing them.
Yeah, have a drain, have a discard, and reanimate on the same turn. You can do that turn 3.
It's definitely worse against the blue-red decks when they usually don't have a target for the creature and the life total doesn't matter, but it's fine here just as a 2-mana duress effect. Because he just wants to overload on that kind of hand disruption to make sure his game plan gets forced through.
Yeah, I think Brutality's definitely been a really, really good spell, and you don't need to jam it in decks like this that are very specific. It's just pretty good and pretty versatile.
Yeah, it's fine. Here's Duress, or Dox as we know it, and we will see a hand of Snapcaster Mage, Imperial Recruiter, Trinket Mage, Back to Basics, and Chain of Vapor. So obviously Chain of Vapor is something that interacts with Cameron Bird once he's finished a combo. So it actually bounces the big fatty to his hand. But Back to Basics is the thing he's scared of because it's what comes down next turn.
Yep, I'll agree with that.
There was a very cohesive game plan in that hand that was Back to Basics next turn, please.
Yep, and he's obviously got the 3 basics, so pretty good duress there, I reckon. Trinket Mage here, though, is a nice follow-up. He can search for that key, and now Cameron knows that there's a snap.
Clear. The way's clear, though.
Well, that's true.
So
You've got to be careful of that top deck vault, though.
That's right. Here, you just get Sensei's Divining Top here.
Do you think so? You don't want to put the pressure on them with the key.
Well, it does nothing.
If you only search for top, I used to play Blue-Black Time Vault in Highlander. If you only always search for the top, then you got to think, like, how good is Trinket Mage if he's always searching for top? How good is top? So many times you search for the top and then find a Time Vault later and you kick yourself.
That's true. I mean, given his hand, he has a Snapcaster Mage for Preordain, which lets him dig again even deeper to try and find that vault. But
especially against a deck like this, I feel like you want to be very proactive. Get in there, put the pressure on him.
So here's an escalated Collective Brutality, discarding 2 big fatties.
That's good, isn't it?
And also draining
he's
2.
Draining, looking, and killing the Trinket Mage. That's nice. Yeah. And he gets to discard his fatties. That's perfect.
The Magus of the Moon is there with no red mana. So next turn is pretty... So he did get the top. So next turn it's pretty clear that he's going to go either top look or Snapcaster Preordain. Oh, here we go. He's not going to get a chance to.
Well, he can snap Chain of Vapor. I think maybe the Magus of the Moon should have been taken because Chain of Vapor...
He can't, not with the Collective Brutality. It's got to be a spell. It's got to be
does it?
Instant or sorcery or something like that.
Oh, okay. Or non-creature or something?
I think it's
instant or sorcery. You're right. Yeah, so that's fine. Well, it was the only thing he could take.
This is basically doing a Grizzlebrand impersonation because once Jin-Gitaxias is out, if your opponent has no way to bounce it before the end of your turn, you're going to draw 7.
Yep. Obviously, Snap Chain of Vapor stops you from discarding your hand, but Cameron's got a fresh 7 cards to play with, so you got to like Cameron's position here.
Absolutely. So looking at Collective Brutality, that was just
a perfect Collective Brutality, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, to fill everyone in.
Especially when you're playing something like Reanimate, which drains you 10 life. So Reanimate, 1 mana, obviously very strong, but it drains you life equal to the CMC of the creature. So in this case, 10 life, that's a lot. Having that drain, even in a control combo match like this, I think is relevant.
Oh, when my opponent goes down to 7 and I'm on the deck with Pestimites and Snapcaster
and he's got a snap in hand,
I'm happy.
He had 3 creatures in hand.
But here, that draw 7 is just amazing. And Collective Brutality, to update you, is instant or sorcery when it discards. So now the trick here is what does Nekta do from here? Because the Chain of Vapor is obviously the linear decision.
You got to snap
chain,
I reckon.
Because otherwise you lose your hand.
Yeah.
Not that his hand's doing much, given that he doesn't have a red source. He really needs that red source. He really needs to draw Volcanic Island here.
Looks like he's got it. No, it's another island.
Source. Yeah, because his hand is stagnant with the Magus of the Moon. Once you can Chain of Vapor, you get that card, and then Magus of the Moon, it'll be great.
You can snap chain and play the top.
That's fine. This is fine. Really, really looking at trying to... no, when you read it, don't sacrifice your land to bounce a Snapcaster Mage. It's not ideal. So there is a world in which you can cast Chain of Vapor, sacrifice your own land, target your own Snapcaster Mage to
I don't think that's
return it, but it's not where you want to be right now when your opponent's on 9 and you can attack with Snapcaster Mage.
Well, it's not so bad here though. He's untapping with a cheeky little 2/1 and a Sensei's Divining Top, and Cameron's down to 9 life. So
yeah, I'm keen to start attacking with my 2/1.
Yep.
I love tempo.
You think it's gonna? I reckon it's definitely gonna be a Sensei's Divining Top in upkeep. Search for that red source.
Yeah, this is why I cut the Time Vault and the 3 points and Tezzeret and all that from my deck, because I love tempo so much. I just love to be able to do this more consistent plan of
gamble?
flash in creatures
What
and
is
attack.
that?
That's gamble with the incorrect art on.
With the incorrect art
yeah,
again.
yeah,
Come
that's
on.
what's confusing.
Come on, Cameron. Stop misplaying and start getting the right artworks.
So
What was his other
clearly misplay?
What was his other misplay artwork? In game 1 he had
What was
one.
that? Lotus Petal.
Lotus
That's
Petal, incorrect. Yeah, strictly incorrect. It's scientifically proven.
5 out of 6 dentists recommend the correct art on gamble.
We can't show his face because he's a dentist.
So now he's searching something out, and given that he drew 7 cards off Jin Cataxius, the chance of discarding the card he looked for is pretty low. So here I assume you're looking for another reanimation spell, is that correct?
Yeah, I reckon so. Nothing that hurts your life. Maybe not Exhume, because Exhume gets the Trinket Mage. I reckon it could just be a good old-fashioned Animate Dead, mate.
Alright, seems good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah,
9
that's
cards.
Probably gonna get the one you want.
So
Hey, does he run Life from Loam in his Cameron Bird's list?
I know we had a discussion about this. I can't recall whether he does or not, but we definitely talked about Life from the Loam being good in this kind of a shell. The question was, what do you get back with it? Dredging is great. Dredging is nice.
You just get back 3 lands.
In the deck that wants to combo on turn 2.
Whoa. It gives you a bit of late game play. You can get 3 lands, and then when you have to careful study or faithless looting, then you can start pitching them and then get.
So here's the discussion.
I don't know.
What dice do I roll? How are we going to do it, etc., etc.? No, you can't roll 2 dice because that doesn't work. But you can split the piles, and that didn't really work. Technically, it's not random to discard like that, given that there's a bell curve on 2 dice. But we'll let that pass.
Oh, there is 2, isn't there?
Yeah. But what you can do is
because 7 is 7.
If it's more than 6, you can roll. You can split them into 2 piles. You can Fact or Fiction your hand.
We just get a
then you can
D20.
split to 2. Yeah, they're being very nice by using the dice that we allocated them.
D20 in multiples.
You must
of
use
2.
these dice that we can actually.
Is that
read.
what you've told them?
Yeah, they have to use these dice on camera.
It's a fascist state, isn't it?
It is. Absolutely. Oh, here's the Oath of Druids. It's back again.
Brutal.
Just when we thought he's only got 1 green card in the whole deck, it's back.
Back again with the white spirits. I think are they white? I think
no, they're colourless. So here we go. Top in the upkeep, and he's going, please, let's get both the red source. Oh, look at the spell pierce. Oh, he's set up. He's set up. He's ready to go.
Tormod's Crypt here. Not going to do much.
No.
Unfortunately.
He's really looking for Grafdigger's Cage. That's the other target that Trinket Mage had in this game too. Instead of Sensei's Divining Top, searching out Grafdigger's Cage.
Yeah. Wow. Why didn't... Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that being in the sideboard.
I think that would have been better.
Because I don't run it, that's why I forgot about it.
Yeah.
I specifically don't have Trinket Mage in my deck.
Yeah, I would have got the Grafdiggers or Tormods or something. I mean, to be fair, that's one other thing Oath's got going for it. It's a different angle.
Yeah.
But Grafdiggers still hits it because it's from library.
Grafdiggers does.
It's a good card. Yeah, I reckon I probably would have searched up the old sideboardy card there.
Yep, I agree. So he's looking at the top 3 cards of his library. He's got a Dig Through Time or a Counterbalance or something like that, and a Tormod's Crypt. I think if we can bend to the edge of the screen, Dig Through Time.
I was just looking. I was just trying to get on the side of the camera there, on the side of the computer screen, see if I can get a better angle. But that's not how vision works.
Incorrect play. So he's deciding on, do I dig through time? Well, I can't. I need to stop that oath now, otherwise
he can
things are going to get worse for me.
He needs to dig and try and find Grafdigger's Cage. But he can't afford to dig.
No.
Oh, it's gross.
No, it doesn't work. So, it's on top. He's going to draw, let's see, is it the Tormod's Crypt or is it Dig? We'll find. We didn't know what the 3rd card was. It could have been that. So he's really struggling without this red source. not that Magus deals with this, but it does put another creature on the battlefield and allow you to tempo swing. So bringing your opponent down to 6 is not irrelevant, and he's really looking at... Okay, here we go. Triggering Oath. He's got to hope that it's not something that finishes the game right here and then, because he wants to be able to attack that life total of 6 somehow.
I'm hoping it's going to be Elish Norn killing Snappies, and then
allowing him to get rid of the other 2 cards on top.
To search up, I don't know what.
Well, he might deck himself because there's all 6 creatures on the bottom. Alright, Elish Norn.
It is Elish Norn.
It's Elish Norn.
Here we go.
Alright.
He's going to find... Oh, but then Kiki Jiki only dies, doesn't it?
It does.
So my theory doesn't work, does it?
Okay, so the only thing he can get off the top of his library that doesn't die is Deceiver Exarch. Because everything else is 2 toughness.
He triggers Deceiver Exarch. He gets the Cascade Bluffs, which gives him double red.
Attacks for 0. Okay, it's not working, is it?
Oh, it doesn't work.
And Beseiju
Zealous Conscripts.
Zealous Conscripts is the thing.
Zealous Conscripts,
yes.
And he gets to steal the Elish Norn.
Okay, and then attack for lethal.
Bash in for lethal. Let's do it.
Okay, this can happen. Here we go. So, passes the turn, and Nekta is going to really, really hope for that.
Another good thing, he gets
Zealous Conscripts.
Well, hold on a minute, Sarv, because he gets to dig through time. Yeah.
Alright, so, dig through time. Are we looking for 2 pieces of a combo, or... Because there's no... Or are we just looking for something to deal the final... Well, we can't deal the final points of damage with -2/-2, can we?
Can't deal
so
much
it's combo.
With the Foster Storm either.
It's combo. He is going to get to trigger. So there will be an enters the battlefield ability for whatever he gets to flip out onto the battlefield. But it's not looking great. But let's see what happens.
I mean, he could draw Submerge the Elish Norn.
Okay.
And flip the Zealous Conscripts and play...
Alright, here we go. It's happening. Kiki Jiki, yeah, it's awkward. I'll tap it to make it... Oh, no, there's nothing. Oh, he dies. It's not ideal. At least he didn't draw the Kiki Jiki, that's an upside. We didn't draw the bad cards.
Yeah.
What was it? Brainstorm that would have seen Kiki Jiki, which we wouldn't want to see, and put it back on top. So let's look with the top, and he's really trying to combo here. It's just going to be trying to get the Voltaic Key and the Time Bolt. This is a point in which if that Sensei's Divining Top search from the Trinket Mage was Grafdigger's Cage, it would be all over Red Rover. He's not getting any Elish Norns out. But if it was for the Voltaic Key, like you said, he'd only be looking for one part of the combo, which is pretty nice. So I see your point there.
Yeah, especially against... I think Top's really good against control, but I don't think it's very good against combo. You don't have that time. You don't have that, excess mana to just fiddle-diddle around. So
yes, that's right. No
spinning your top.
Diddles.
You got to get to work,
At least Elish Norn only bashes for 4 a turn. It's not the hugest of beasts, so there are 3 more turns for Nekta to try and find the 2 pieces of the combo. And he has a top.
I'm pining for this Zealous Conscripts. Does he run Zealous Conscripts?
I don't think so.
Oh, man. Because a lot of these decks run Zealous Conscripts. Because
they do.
Conscripts is it's only 1 red mana, first of all. It's not a terrible card by itself, and it actually...
He does.
Here we go. And it actually steals one of your opponent's things, but it untaps that, and you can actually target your own thing. So you
target your Time Vault, take an extra turn.
Target your own Time Vault, or target
Kiki
Jiki, and you get to
Infinite Guys.
Yeah, it works with the Splinter Twin as well. Conscript Splinter Twin works. So
because you can you make another Conscript.
I wonder if Cameron is sitting here scared of something like an aggro play like that, because there's no red, so he must be scared of double bolt, but there's no red for Nekta. So.
You need a real Cascade Bluffs there. Here comes Show and Tell with the incorrect art. He's going to get to...
Whoa, I run that art.
Incorrect. You can leave now. This is the sound of Beckett
leaving
the booth.
No, don't pay too live. You don't need to Show and Tell. Now you lose to Fetch Land Bolt, or...
can't activate. He can't activate the fetch lands. Yep.
Ooh.
Right, so his life
And he
total is
can't-
actually 4.
And he can't tap.
And here's the Imperial Recruiter that hasn't been able to be played for the whole game,
Okay.
which allows him to search for another creature. And sure, the creature has to be smaller than 2 toughness, which means it dies, but he does get an Enter the Battlefield ability. So,
Well, he could get Deceiver Exarch, and he can
yes,
tap.
Deceiver Exarch is a good,
He can
good one.
tap the Elishnon, or he can search up Zealous Conscripts, and
He can't get Zealous because 3 toughness, 3 power.
oh, is it?
Yeah,
So okay, so
Imperial Recruiter gets 2
so
or
he
less.
gets Exarch, and he steals.
I think you get
Elishnon?
Deceiver Exarch, and you tap them to buy you more time to win via the Time Bolt combo. That's you're only out, right? He's already lost his Chain of Vapor. It's already been exiled. What other outs does he have? Submerge to bounce one of the creatures.
Yeah, or
to
red
the top.
twin is
But-
three cards. You know.
Interestingly, if you do,
Oh, don't get the pest, alright?
yeah, you definitely need the Deceiver Exarch here. But the Deceiver Exarch could already be in his hand. That's why he's not finding it. If you submerge one of these creatures, do know that if Oath triggers, it will it will flip.
Or maybe you're happy to have a Elishnon come back. I don't know.
So yeah, he's got Pestamite in hand now, and he will get an Oath trigger when it comes to his turn, because this is the end of Cameron Bird's turn. He's getting to draw 7 cards. His hand is obviously gas, but he is on 4 life, so we're really looking for a bolt play here or a Time Bolt.
Yeah, Time Vault. Top deck Time Vault. Have a spin.
He does get to spin the top at the end of turn. No, he's not doing anything at the end of turn.
I guess he just knew
knows.
he's gonna.
Because he knows a Deceiver Exarch.
It's a pretty good flip.
Well, he shuffled, so yeah. I mean, of all the things. So now he gets to tap one of the creatures or untap a land to generate extra mana, which he can use to Sensei's Divining Top before his draw. So there's a couple of things he can do.
Good point. It's a very good point.
So he'll float 1 mana, and then he'll use the Deceiver Exarch trigger to untap that island again, and use the floating mana to activate Sensei's Divining Top.
You guys got a red source there. I don't know exactly what it does anymore, but
Yeah, it's probably too far gone now, but the red source enabling a lightning bolt type play.
well, he's
is
not swinging
relevant.
for lethal next turn. Cameron's not. He's swinging for 11, I think. So he's still got a bit more time.
Got time. Time is relevant here. Unfortunately, Deceiver Exarch is a 0/2, so it can't really attack. It does a nice impression of Jace Vryn's Prodigy there.
Not quite as good.
Not quite.
Although
no.
Jace wouldn't be doing too well in this board
No,
stage.
it's Cascade Blood.
Whoa!
Double red. Double red is there.
Called it.
Got there. Alright, here we go. Now we're looking for Bolt, Fire, and Ice here.
Yep.
There's still outs here. Oh, passing the turn. So he's got Pestamite in hand.
Like Mystic Confluence, bounce both your critters.
Oh, that would be pretty spicy. But keep in mind that and discarding the
Oh
hand.
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think he also forgot because otherwise he would have played.
They die anyway.
Pestamite would just.
What's
yeah.
the third card?
The third card is Anger of the Gods. Is it? No,
Doesn't-
Magus of the Moon.
No, above the Magus or below the Magus.
It's
Swan
very
Song?
short.
I think it's Swan Song.
Yeah, it could be Swan Song.
Anyway,
It's a short name with 2 words with 4 letters in each, so let's assume it's Swan Song. So really the top decks here are hinging on that Sensei's Divining Top. He's going to block at some point with the Deceiver Exarch to save a bit of life, to buy him a bit more time, but even though your opponent is drawing 7 cards a turn, I think there's some hope, right?
mate, if he hits Splinter Twin, he gets infinite 0/2s to block.
You're blocked forever.
You can block for a long
Yeah,
time.
your opponent can draw 7 cards at the end of every turn and lose the game from that. Right? I don't think it's May.
I mean, eventually, I don't think it is May, but eventually he'll get a flyer, right? And I'm still holding out for my Zealous Conscripts plan, mate.
Well,
Zealous
I mean,
Conscripts steal the Elishnorn. Suddenly, that's +2 instead of -2.
no, I'm all in on Splinter Twin, infinite blockers, and force your opponent to draw their entire deck. That's what I'm in on. We have to win somehow.
Look, there are 3 that. Oh,
Blocking
no.
now seems wrong though.
I would
because
not have
you're going
blocked.
to lose the following turn anyway, right?
Yeah. You're now stripping yourself of all win cons.
That Splinter Twin win con. That could have happened. Yeah.
My version.
Yeah. No,
Well,
letting your opponent deck themselves.
He can still win to the Zealous Conscript's win con. And in fact, he's got an oath trigger, right? How many creatures does he have left? Or is this a guaranteed win?
Well,
just answer me this. Is this not a guaranteed
well,
win?
Kiki Jiki's gone.
It's got it, yeah.
The other thing's a
gone.
Venser. Venser will still be in the deck.
Okay.
So
Venser's not great.
no.
But yeah,
it does bounce a creature.
If he hits conscripts, he just flat schnitzels him.
Flat Schnitzel is the official terminology used. Well, the only targets in his deck are... No, Zealous Conscript is the only creature remaining in his deck. Is that right?
Dang.
Recruiter's gone, Snapcaster gone, Pestilence gone, Exarch's gone,
it's
Trinket Mage
conscript.
gone,
This is the win.
Magus,
It's-
Kiki-Jiki. Wow.
It's stealing the Elish Norn. He shouldn't have blocked. He should have stolen the Elish Norn, given +2. So suddenly that Deceiver Exarch is a 3 power.
Well, if he left Zealous Conscript in the deck, hypothetically, we're assuming this after sideboard Zealous Conscript is
Wait,
in.
why
But
would
if it
you
is-
sideboard out Zealous Conscripts against a deck that has a huge amount of amazing
Oh.
things you want to steal?
I'm not saying he did, but hypothetically, if he didn't take it out, then isn't this a deterministic win? Flip it off the top, and no, he's got a second creature.
Well, he's also Rune Scarred Demon this turn.
Yes, this is true.
Like,
Well, I guess that's no, but you know, it's coming in from.
I don't think they adjusted life totals either. Right?
No, because he blocked.
He blocked one of them.
Here we
Didn't he
go.
block?
Zealous Conscripts. It's coming.
Here we go.
It's coming. It's the only possible thing that could be in the deck, unless
Yum,
it's a
yum,
sideboard
yum,
of
yum,
Keranos.
yum.
Sideboard Keranos.
Oh, give me that.
So the twin.
Give me that Zealous Conscripts.
Come on, I want that 1/1.
Yum, yum, yum.
1/1 with haste.
No, it's a 4/4. It's a 5/5.
No, it's a 3. Isn't it a 3/3? And he
Yeah.
gets -2/2.
But then he gets +2/+2 when he steals
It's
the
+2/+2. That's right. Okay, sorry, I forgot about that. Of course. These lines that we had completely forgotten about.
Here we go. Or it's the last card in Nekta's deck,
Oh no.
and he decks
Oh
himself.
no. There it is.
Bang.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
He should not have blocked. He definitely should not have blocked.
Well, it doesn't do anything, right? I mean, I agree, because drawing Splinter Twin would be great, but it doesn't do anything.
If he didn't block and he steals it, is that lethal? Then he
No.
gets to swing.
Yes, it is. It
and
is
it's
lethal. Yeah, you steal the Elish Norn.
You steal the
And
Elish Norn
attack
and you
too.
attack. It's
Yeah.
still lethal if he steals the Elish Norn, right?
Yeah. You take...
I guess it's lethal if you take Rune Scarred and swing it. No, because
No,
he gets
'cause you're gonna
-1
get -1
power
one
from
time.
Animate Dead. It's so relevant.
Yep. He's a 4/6. Oh, he's a 4/6 flying.
No.
Flying, Runescarred Demon. Yeah?
No. Yeah, but he gets -2 from Elish Norn.
No, it's a 5/6, so it's -1.
It's a 6/6 flyer,
6/6
but he's
flyer.
going to get -2 from Elish Norn and -1 from
-2.
Animate Dead.
-1. Yes,
and
got
then,
it. Sorry.
and then the
I'm
Elish
just
Norn
missing it.
blocks the Zealous and he
Yeah.
gets him for 3.
So he takes Elish Norn,
Yeah, he takes Elish Norn.
gets +2/+2 to his critters.
No, don't. What are you doing, Nekta? Guess you just might as well activate top, eh?
Just activate top, because you can. So taking Elish Norn there means
Yeah.
Elish Norn attacks for 4, and Zealous Conscript attacks for 5. Is that correct? So that means it's a deterministic
He
win,
definitely should
isn't
have.
it?
Yeah. If he took the Elish Norn,
Because
now he swings for
+2/+2.
3. Because Elish Norn blocks the Zealous Conscripts.
Yes.
Unless they've just forgotten about the stupid little.
The +2/+2 to your own creatures thing.
Well, yeah.
I think that's what was forgotten.
Or the -1 of Animate Dead. And he thinks that that's a 4/4 flyer. And he thinks 4/4 flyer when
Yeah.
he's on 4 life is correct.
Yeah.
I wonder what his 2 cards are.
Yeah, I think take Elish Norn, attack with both creatures. You got a 5/5
Don't-
conscript, and
Don't
you got
block
a
with
4/7.
Exarch was also.
Don't block with Exarch.
It's also like a big one. I mean, you know your deck. You know it's
You
only
know there's
Zealous
only
Conscript.
one creature in the whole deck.
I called this from day one. Reb,
Alright.
what does Reb do?
Reb targeting your own guy
Okay.
so that he can oath trigger. That's what he's doing. But
Quack, 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 quack!
and you know the quack plan was not relevant if he had Elish Norn because it would be -2/-2.
You know what else is funny? Nekta can't quack him back. Because if Nekta quacks him back and counters the quacker, then Cameron gets a quacker anyway.
And you can't quack in with that.
Oh, God, he got absolutely quacked.
That.
If he'd taken the Elishnorn, the quacker wouldn't have done it because the quacker would be instantly dead.
That was rough.
He got quacked.
Yep. Well, once you quack, there's no going back.
Dang. We didn't have much time. We only had a couple of seconds left of this video, but Sarven got that in there. Once you crack, you never go back, guys.
We'll see you in the second video. Please come back for more quack and action.